Here is the last part of the story. He was finally arrested. But that was only half the battle. The real fight was just beginning. Sarah Turney. On August 20th, 2020, after nearly 2 decades of frustration, dead ends, and media pressure, Michael Turney was officially charged with second-degree murder in the death of his stepdaughter, Alissa Turney. The charge came as a shock to many. There was no body, no direct physical evidence, just a handwritten note, an inconsistent alibi, and a mountain of circumstantial signs pointing to one man, Alissa's own stepfather. But to Sarah Turney, this was a long-overdue recognition that her sister's life and disappearance mattered. She stood in front of the courthouse, holding a framed photo of Alissa and fighting tears. We were told we'd never get here, that it wasn't possible without a body. But here we are, because we didn't stop. However, the relief didn't last long. Despite the charge, the case presented several complications. No forensic evidence tying Michael to Alissa's murder. No witness to any crime. No body to confirm that a murder had even taken place. The prosecution relied heavily on Michael Turney's own bizarre behavior, his manifesto, the obsessive surveillance, and his wildly shifting stories. But Michael's defense attorney quickly went on the offensive. He painted a picture of an eccentric man, not a murderer. Someone obsessed with unions and government corruption, but still grieving a missing daughter. The defense claimed, Michael truly believed Alissa ran away. The note she left was proof of her intention. The arsenal found in his home was unrelated to Alissa's disappearance and merely the ramblings of a mentally unstable man. The case began to wobble under its own weight. While prosecutors built a fragile legal case, Sarah waged a stronger one online. She used TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and her podcast Voices for Justice to mobilize thousands of supporters. Her campaign became a viral sensation, especially among younger true crime followers. She shared audio clips of Michael Turney contradicting himself, excerpts from his rambling 30-page manifesto, emotional stories from Alissa's childhood, making her more than just a case file. And she begged the public, don't let this go quiet. Don't let my sister be forgotten. Because if we stop talking about her, he wins. The public pressure forced Phoenix authorities to remain engaged. But as the legal system churned on, something devastating happened. In July 2023, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office dropped the murder charge against Michael Turney. The reason? Lack of evidence. In a public statement, the district attorney admitted they could not meet the burden of proof required to convict. Sarah was devastated. We waited 19 years for that arrest, and now it's just gone. Back to silence. Back to nothing. Michael Turney walked free. He returned to the same home he had once filled with surveillance cameras, suspicion, and secrets. To this day, he maintains his innocence. Despite the dropped charges, public opinion remains deeply skeptical of Michael Turney's innocence. His erratic behavior, the stockpiling of weapons, the fabricated union conspiracy, all of it reads more like a guilty man trying to control the narrative than a grieving father. And yet, there is no conclusive proof of what happened to Alissa. No recovered body, no confirmed crime scene. Just one sister who refused to give up. Sarah didn't stop with the dropped charges. She turned her pain into purpose. She founded a non-profit aimed at supporting families of missing and murdered loved ones. She lobbies for Alissa's Law, a policy that would ensure thorough investigations, even in runaway cases. She's become one of the most powerful voices in the true crime community, advocating for transparency, survivor-centered narratives, and ethical storytelling. She often ends her podcasts with a message to Alissa. If you can hear me, I haven't stopped. I won't stop. Not until the truth comes out. Michael Turney may be free, but the questions remain. Where is Alissa? What really happened that May afternoon in 2001? And how close are we to the answers buried beneath 2 decades of silence? The truth is out there, and Sarah Turney won't rest until it's found. You may never get justice in a courtroom, but you can get it in the truth. And sometimes, that's even louder. Sarah Turney. Alissa Turney was declared legally dead in 2010, nearly a decade after her disappearance. No grave, no remains, no confirmed cause of death. Just an empty chair at birthdays, an unfinished life. But her story has refused to fade. Sarah Turney's campaign has kept Alissa's name in headlines, podcasts, investigative specials, and national television. And with it, an uncomfortable truth about the justice system came to light. Too often, missing teenage girls, especially those believed to be runaways, are dismissed, forgotten, ignored. Their stories go cold before they ever heat up. Alissa became a symbol of that failure. In fighting for her sister, Sarah became an unintentional voice for thousands of families whose loved ones were treated like numbers. She's received letters and emails from people across the country. Parents whose kids went missing but were told to wait 48 hours. Sisters whose concerns were dismissed as emotional overreaction. Children who grew up knowing someone was missing, but no one ever cared enough to dig. Sarah's platform now extends far beyond Alissa's case. She uses it to demand legislative change, call out law enforcement agencies for negligence, advocate for ethical true crime storytelling, urging content creators to focus on victims, not just the sensational details. But Sarah's journey hasn't been without personal toll. She's received death threats, been harassed by conspiracy theorists, and even ostracized by some family members for pushing too hard, too publicly. Her relationship with her father, the man she once trusted, was destroyed. In interviews, she's painfully admitted, "He was my parent. He made me feel safe. I defended him for years, until I couldn't anymore." And yet, she never turned away from the truth, no matter how painful it became. Michael Turney remains free. He lives in Arizona, out of the public eye, rarely seen or heard. In rare statements, he continues to assert that Alissa ran away, that the accusations against him are the result of Sarah's obsession and media manipulation. But his explanations continue to erode under scrutiny. And to the public, his silence speaks louder than any words. As of now, no new charges have been filed. No further evidence has been publicly revealed. And Alissa remains one of Arizona's most haunting cold cases. Despite all of this, Sarah Turney still believes answers will come. She believes someone, somewhere, knows more. She believes that silence has protected her sister's killer for too long, and that public pressure can shatter that silence. And she believes in legacy. Even if we never find Alissa's body, her story changed everything. She made people care. She forced the system to look at itself. And she gave me purpose. Alissa's story has sparked national conversations on the treatment of missing teens, reforms in case handling, a growing demand for justice that doesn't expire with time. As you watch this story, ask yourself, how many more Alissas are out there? How many girls were silenced and dismissed as runaways? How many families still live in limbo because the system failed them? Speak their names. Tell their stories. Push for justice. Because the next cold case that goes ignored could be someone's sister, daughter, friend, and because silence should never have the last word. Candle hash if you know anything, even the smallest detail, about Alissa Turney's disappearance. Contact the Phoenix Police Department. You can remain anonymous. Loudspeaker share Sarah Turney's message. Follow at Sarah Turney on TikTok or listen to her podcast Voices for Justice to support her advocacy. Bell subscribe to True Crime Hub for more deep, ethical, and emotionally grounded crime.